Alright, we're almost there. This time, I saved the file. I saved it as copy. I saved it FP Beretta default 2, so it's a separate file in case we need to go back. And this is the part where we actually apply Reflection Bone to the mesh and start assigning bones and vertex weights. Now, if you followed all the other videos, you should have up to this point the mesh, the arm mesh with the gun, and everything is pretty much ready to go. The bones, the biped, the camera, the material, which should be fine, and that's pretty much all there is to be ready for Reflection Bone. So once we got that, select the arm set or the arm mesh, and we apply Reflection Bone to it. Now we got to make sure all the bones are unhidden before we assign them, because if they're hidden it won't see it. So we just select all bones, and yes, all the bones are unhidden. We'll go back to the arm set and we'll click Add Bones. And we select everything that says BDBN in it. It's an easy way of identifying the bones. Once you got that, you hit Add. If you don't get any pop-ups or any errors at all, it should be fine. All these bones should be listed down here. Before we go any further, we should set these spinners down to 0, ramp in, ramp out, and put the frame rate up to 30. It's best to do this now, because later on, when you're exporting different animations, it's going to be a pain in the ass to keep changing these down to 0 and down to 30. Alright. Now, once you got that, you expand this Reflection Bone modifier by clicking this little plus sign, and then click on the vertex mode. You'll see that all the vertices on the mesh will light up. At this point, it's okay to hide all the bones. So you could go up here, press all bones, and then hide them. Now all we got is just the mesh. You want to go back into vertex mode, and then we'll start assigning the vertices to bones. We'll start off with the easy thing to do, the gun. Okay, so we'll select all the vertices on the silencer and then assign them to the silencer bone. We'll give it 100% influence over these vertices selected. That means if I were to get the silencer bone and move it around, this mesh, these vertices selected on this mesh will follow it. And we'll do the same thing right here with the hammer. When you select the second part and then one of these go blank, like this, like when I was coming from the silencer, it'll say 100 right here, and then if I just click drag select and then this turns blank, you're going to have to click away and then reselect. And then we'll assign this to the hammer, 100%, click away, deselect, and then we'll select the entire gun body, and we'll assign it to gun body, enter, and we'll do the same thing with the clip. And that should be it for the gun. Now we get to do the arms. These are a lot more complicated and difficult than the gun, because the gun is easy. It's just mechanical parts, and you just gotta assign them to 100. These are more organic, and getting an organic look is obviously a lot harder. We'll start off by selecting the right arm. We're gonna go scroll down until we find the first bone for the right arm, and we want to assign these to selection right here, 100. You could also go zoom out. We could check our selection. Make sure it's right. Now these right here, these are a little bit different. Since they're bridging in between this forearm and the upper arm, we could have a little bit more, have it a little bit smoother, have a smoother transfer. So since this is closer to the upper arm than it is to the forearm, we could put the upper influence to about 75% and the lower arm to about 25%. Oh yeah, if you press these buttons right here, these are all buttons, you can press these, and then when you press these, it'll show you what its influences are. Right here, you can barely see it, but there's little plus signs appearing on these vertexes. It's easy. It's an alternative instead of pressing enter when you input the numbers. Okay, so we got these set to 75 and 25. Oh yeah, also note that these numbers, the sum of all these numbers cannot equal over to 100 for any single vertex, because if it goes over 100, you'll get some serious problems when you're in game. You won't get any error as you export it, but when you get it in game, you'll definitely see some problems. Now next, we can select these. Make sure selection. And then we can continue selecting these. And deselect that. We get to zoom around, check our selection, make sure it's right. And then we don't want this hand bone to be affected. We don't want these vertices on the hand to be affected by the forearm bone, so we're going to deselect them. And just check your selection, make sure you got everything selected that you need. Make sure nothing's missing. Once we got that, we could assign all these 100% to the lower arm. You could take this button just in case so we know what we were working on. Now we get to assign vertices to the hand. This is a lot more difficult and, well, it's more time consuming, as working on the fingers is too. So we could come right here, select all these for the hand, and then start selecting the actual vertices on the hand itself. I might have to manually select these down below. Make sure selection is proper. Make sure to get anything from the arm. And then we want to select all these bottom ones down here. Just double check it. Looks to be in order. Once you got that, you gotta assign that to the right hand. Enter, and then that should be good to go. Now let's get the second hardest part out of the way, which is the thumb. I think it's a better idea to have this selected so we can see what vertices we shouldn't touch. We'll start by selecting these four. Can I use this one? I assign it to the hand. And then we want to select these two right here. Maybe these two. That's about right. And we'll assign these bones to the thumb 01. Now this next one, we just get these last remaining vertices and just assign that to the second bone, thumb 02. Looks to be in order. Now this next part is important. What we want to do is select all these right here on the hand. And set 50% influence for each of these to the hand. What the hell am I thinking? The right hand, duh. Now we can start working on the fingers. I think it might be a better idea to do this in the top viewport. Let's start with the pointer finger. Okay, first we'll select these two. What the hell? Set that to 50, not 100. Okay. We'll select this vertex and this one. Let's zoom in a little bit closer so you can see. These ones right here. And set these to 50 for the first point finger. Our point. 50. And then now we could come down here and select these four right here. If we were to zoom in right here, we could see what vertices we got selected. These four. You go ahead and give these 100% influence, or the point finger 100% influence over these. And then for this one, we can select this row, and then this row, these two rows. Assign it to point 02. And then these ones finally to point 03. And then if we click these, you can see the influence for each one. Next, we're going to do the middle finger. %, because this is the first row. We want a smooth transition from the hand to the finger. And then we select these two, or these four. Assign this to the middle 01, 100%. Click this. Select these. Middle 02. And then right here, middle 03. And then the same thing for the next two fingers. I think it might be a good idea to do all these first so they don't get in the way later. Ring 02. or ring 01 actually. It looks like the pinky is built a lot differently than the rest of the fingers. You can zoom under here and select these two. The pinky 02. And then select these ones. And pinky 03. And let's see, we got the whole right arm finished, I hope. Hopefully with no errors. So we'll save it. Do a save as. Breda default 3. Save. We have to reopen up the file, otherwise it won't work properly. So open up. We'll freeze this. I'll hide all the bones. Yes. And we can start tweaking around the bones and see how the arm reacts to it. Turn off angle snapping. You can see that the gun rotates properly as well. You could check the rotation for this. It is a good idea to have this on local. And then we'll start tweaking with the fingers. Make sure those work. The thumb is also important, so I could check the thumb. Check the pinky. And that's what I think of all of you. Bam! I'm just kidding. It looks like it's working right, so we'll go ahead and select all the bones. Hide selection. Unfreeze the mesh. And we can see that the mesh is bending properly the way it should. It looks like there's a little bit of an anomaly right here because of the way the mesh is built. But chances are you won't have Parker giving people the finger as a weapon in the game, so I don't think that'll be a good idea. And you can see that the gun is actually following the rotation of the bones on the arm. We could also fix that by now, but right now let's just open up our default file. Don't save it. That's just testing it. And then now we could start fixing the gun. Oh no, wait, we should actually finish the other arm before we do that. And then finishing this arm will basically follow the same principles as this one, getting all the vertices to match up the way we want. And that's about it for setting up and using Redfaction Bone to do all the work for you.